what So the idea of Phoenix Guild is that we started the Phoenix Guild at around mid-Jan, from what I remember. Before that, what we are trying to do, let's take a look, right? All of these numbers that you see here, these are just examples of grant funding numbers that are available. Apart from this grant funding, there is also a huge amount of capital that is available in this entire blockchain ecosystem in the whole Web3 industry. And the problem that we are trying to tackle is this, that is the number of women applying for these grants, for the funding, for the different projects, hackathons, and wherever there are opportunities, the ratio of women applying versus uh, the ratio of men applying is something on these lines. This could also be like a bit of exaggeration. It's probably much lesser, to be honest. So that's why we started the Phoenix Guild, because we wanted to create a diverse and inclusive Web3 ecosystem. I personally have been in the Web3 ecosystem for over 5+ years, and I felt like, it's time now to actually stop complaining and start doing something about the diversity. And that's one of the reasons that a bunch of us came up together to start the guild. What we want to do is, there are a lot of other communities that I'm sure you're already a part of, which are doing things on the education side of things, which are doing things on the networking side of things. Bridget has a community called the Bigger Pie, who we closely work with. They are really amazing in terms of networking. Uh, but what we are specifically looking for is to help women break into Web3 through opportunities. That is, it could be a small task, it could be a small writing task, it could be a small contract that you're contributing to, it could be a small media task, it could be a small bounty, it could be a small grant that you've got. But we are trying to help you look at these opportunities and try to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. So we want to create opportunities for women to take up projects and leadership positions in Web3. The Phoenix Guild, when we started, it was started by 4 Genesis Phoenixes: Krati, me, that is Gyan, Sri Lakshmi, and Nivedita. And we initially started with the help of an Ocean DAO grant, through which we also disbursed some bounties in the month of Jan. So what do we do? What do we plan to do? We do a lot of onboarding sessions for women on various Web3 topics. We want to create ourselves and also bring opportunities for women in Web3 in the form of grants, bounties, etc. And of course, we want to mentor women to attempt these opportunities. How do you attempt these opportunities? So there are educational aspects of it and there are mentorship aspects of it, both of which we want to tackle. And of course, as a part of that, we also want to do boot camps and immersive sessions for various domains, like development, marketing, operations, design, product, etc. Awesome. So, who is it for? Our sessions, the educational sessions that we do are open to all. However, the mentorship and the training that we want to do it specifically for women. That's what the group is targeted for. However, our Telegram group, which is the active group for communication, is open for all who can also join us as allies in supporting this mission. So quickly, the story so far, we have done a couple of educational sessions, the recordings of which you can find pinned on the Telegram group. So these are some topics that we have gone into: introduction, what are tokens, what are DAOs. We have done a couple of meetups in collaboration with various communities across the globe. Some of the events that we have participated in, and we have also conducted meetups. We were invited to the Coinbase India launch to actually do a meetup. The Phoenix Guild was invited. A couple of speakers from the Phoenix Guild have gone and spoken at other meetups, and we have started now with the IRLC. Some quick throwing light on some quick achievements. So like I said, whatever we are doing, it is through opportunity. Yeah. So our idea is to get women into this space through opportunities. Here are some of the things that we have done so far. So 2 of the women from the Phoenix Guild are working on an NFT claim platform for which they'll be paid X amount. We started a Rust study group for Solana specifically and got a grant for that. 4 women were awarded writing bounties. I think I missed one name. that's Divya here. And two of us participated in the Ocean India Hackathon and won. I think a couple of others participated, but these were the winning teams. Swapna and Spurti, two women who were more or on the analytics side of things, are working on Algovera analytics bounties because they explicitly showed interest at working at the intersection of blockchain and artificial intelligence data. So they are working on that. Two of them from our team also won the HerdDAO logo design for ETH Denver. Nivedita and Abina built a crypto savings app for ETH Denver, and they won a bounty recently. And one of my teams won, we won a bounty for NFT analytics platform built during ETH Denver. So basically, this is the idea, as you can see, right? We are trying to give you opportunities so that you can break into Web3 through these opportunities. Not all the bounty amounts are the same as you see, but they are something, right? A way to kind of get started. Here are some other projects, some of which have been completed and some are ongoing, and I will not delve too much into it. But now let's start the actual thing, right? So first off,
can I stop you for one question, please?
Sure, please go ahead.
What is a bounty? What is that? So it's like a, yeah.
So a bounty is like a small task. So for example, let me share. So writing bounties, right? So bounties are like tasks that are associated with some kind of monetary compensation. So we said that there is a writing bounty for doing ABC. So for example, for this writing bounty was a bounty for women only. If you write an article, we'll give you a bounty amount of $100, something like that. So you see, bounty hunters, that's how the term was derived. What is bounty hunters? They hunt people and they get paid for it. They get paid in the form of a bounty. So that's where the name is derived. You hunt, you do some task, and for that task, you get compensated. The compensation may always not be in the form of money. It could also be in the form of something else like a job or whatever, right? But these are generally bounties. Bounties are nothing but tasks, to put it very simple.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I'm not able to see the raised hands because I'm sharing screen. So if you want me to stop anytime and ask a question, feel free to. So this is what we are here for today, our first onboarding call for the Solidity Bootcamp. First off, thanks everyone for registering for the bootcamp. We are really excited to do this, and we hope that you are equally excited to be able to participate in the bootcamp. This is the first ever time we are doing it. This first cohort, as we are calling it, the Genesis cohort, is a cohort where we targeted to do this for 100 women. So we closed the registration when we hit the number. But of course, we have done some tweaking and allowed a couple of other folks because there were some dropouts, etc. So now we have about 80 plus women in the cohort. This bootcamp is designed to be a 6-week bootcamp officially. So week 1, which we started yesterday, is actually the official kickstart of the bootcamp. Week 0 was a buffer week that we gave before week 1. So you are all ready to get into Web3. And this bootcamp is aimed to help you familiarize yourself with Solidity. I want to be very clear about the objective, because this is not to give you an advanced skill in Solidity, right? Because we are covering a breadth of topics and we have a mix of people amongst us. Some of you are completely beginners and non-programmers. Some of you have about, lot of experience, 5 years experience, 10 years experience in this space of programming. So we have a breadth of people. Why we allowed this breadth of people for the first Genesis cohort is because we wanted this bootcamp to be an opportunity opener for everyone, right? So that's why, irrespective of your background, we are happy to have you for the bootcamp. Oops, sorry. Now, this 6-week bootcamp will cover a bandwidth of subjects, including an introduction to Web3, some familiarity with various domain topics inside Web3. It could be NFTs, it could be tokens, it could be token economics, it could be something around metaverse, which we just had. So it will cover a breadth of topics, but the primary focus is on learning this smart contract programming language called Solidity. That's your main focus for the entire bootcamp. This bootcamp is asynchronous. What that means is maximum ownership on learning is on you. We are not taking the ownership of learning. We are taking the ownership of mentoring, and we are taking the ownership to help you navigate your path. Your learning is completely in your hands. This is the asynchronous way of doing a bootcamp. Why we chose to do an asynchronous bootcamp is something that I will talk about just in a while. But throughout the bootcamp, you will get mentorship support, and there will be master classes which will be on different domain topics. This bootcamp is the 6 weeks is split into 4 weeks of learning with quizzes and 2 weeks of projects. So 4 weeks of learning, which will include basics of Ethereum and EVM. That's your week 1 going on right now. Then 3 weeks of Solidity. Each of the weeks will have some small assignments and quizzes associated with it. 2 weeks of projects. The 2 weeks of projects, initially we thought of keeping it optional, but now it is mandatory as a part of the bootcamp, because without the projects, you are not going to understand how you are going to be able to implement this in real time. So projects are mandatory. Now, the 2 weeks of projects will also be asynchronous. However, most of your mentors are willing to mentor you during the project week. So you will have some mentorship support. I will share a little bit about the 2 weeks of projects as well and how it will go.
Un día a la semana, al mes, ¿verdad? O dos, como mucho. Pero yo viajar, por ejemplo, una semana sí, una semana no, que es lo que yo.
Okay, going to mute everyone. 3 books. Okay. So the 4 weeks of learning, you will get content in the form of videos and written recommended readings. Most of them are videos, so you can watch them. It's a mix of videos, reading material, and lab exercises. So at this point, let me just pause and show you actually how the content will look like. This is the week 1 content that you have received. So now the content is structured in such a way that there are objectives of the week. Why are there objectives of the week? Objectives of the week are for you to ensure that these are minimum basic concepts that you need to know, no matter what, right? Whatever role you might want to get into post the bootcamp. It could be a product manager, project manager for a Web3 company. It could be a marketing manager. It could be a developer. It could be a front-end developer. It could be a Solidity developer. Whatever it is, these are some of the objectives that you have to you should be able to answer to anyone if they ask you, have you gone through a Solidity bootcamp? And your answer is yes. Now, here are some tips and tricks that I'm sure you have already read it. Whichever are marked with an asterisk, that is this symbol, are mandatory, because these concepts again will help you meet the objectives. And wherever you feel like the speed of delivery of the videos is slow, you can make it 1.5x and watch them, right? If you find that there are some terminologies that are unclear, there are 2 ways to resolve this. One is you try to Google yourself and try to find some reference material to read. And second is try to discuss that terminology and get clarity within your groups. I'll show you what groups are in the next couple of slides. So you can see that there are some which are marked as asterisks. These are videos / reading material that is mandatory to go through, and those which are not also are recommended but not mandatory. For example, this is just a fun watch. So it just talks about different consensus algorithms. To be honest, you don't need to know all of them. And then Ethereum for Dummies. So if you haven't watched the videos before, I am personally a big fan of Dr. Gavin Wood. So I really like the way he presents things. So I've added this for reference, but these are some things that are must know, right? That's why they are mandatory to know. Other things are add-on. And as you can see, it's a mix of reading material plus video material. For your week 2, which is where your Solidity starts, this content is incomplete at this point, but just want to show. You may find something like this called labs. So these labs are very small and simple exercises that you need to kind of work with. And these are, of course, optional. Nobody is going to test you on this, but these are for you to understand whether you have gone through this concept properly or not. So these labs are highly recommended to do. And if you get stuck in these labs, is where you can reach out to your mentors or your peers on your group and be like, hey, I don't understand what this question is, or I am stuck here, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that. And people will come forward and help you. So it's highly recommended to do the labs. There are also fun labs. There are mandatory kind of serious labs, not so much fun, but try to do all of them, right? So you have labs, these are extra in from the Solidity week onwards that you will find. Now going back to the content. Sorry, yeah, there's a question.
Exactly. And are you going to look the results of our labs, or you measure our progress only with the quizzes?
There are two ways we will measure the progress. One is with the quizzes and one is with the assignments. So when the Solidity week starts, it's not just the quizzes, but you will also have an assignment. So I will talk about that as well. So let me talk about the structure of the bootcamp. The structure of the bootcamp is that week 1 is dedicated to a lot of reading. So like I said, it's about Ethereum, EVM, etc. Week 2, 3, 4 are dedicated to completely Solidity. And the week 2, 3, and 4 are structured in the form of reading, writing, and testing. So your week 2 is going to be a reading week. That means you are encouraged to read as many contracts as possible. You are not expected to understand them completely. But the majority of your time in this week should go into reading a lot of smart contracts plus trying to meet your objectives of the week. Now, through the reading, writing, testing, for testing whether you have, for checking whether you are actually doing the reading, writing, or testing, you will have something called assignments. So these assignments are apart from your quiz, right? So you will get the weekly quiz, plus for reading there'll be an assignment, for writing there'll be an assignment, for testing there'll be an assignment. So your progress, your basically like your cumulative score, if you can call it, will be from the assignments plus the quiz put together. So these both are mandatory for scoring purposes, for grading purposes. Other things like labs, etc., are just for your self-learning purpose, right? But it is more like practice, how you get practice questions. It's like that. So if you do all your labs, you'll be well prepared for the quiz. But if you miss out on your labs, maybe you will not be able to do your quiz that well. That's the idea of the labs. Now, yeah. So the structure of the bootcamp, is that clear? Because this is the most important thing. 6 weeks, 4 weeks worth of content, 2 weeks worth of project. Bootcamp is structured in the form of Ethereum, Solidity, reading, writing, and testing, right? So you will read smart contracts, you will write smart contracts, you will test. Of course, you will be doing everything in every week, but you will have to focus on particular skills every week so that you learn, your learning is made much easier and much accelerated. That's the idea. Are there any questions on this format of the bootcamp, on the structure of the bootcamp, or is it clear?
I have a question. This is Adrienne. How many hours just, and maybe that's not really a great question, but how many hours do you anticipate or would you expect us to kind of be spending on this? And I know it probably is different between people who have no developing experience versus others, but do you have like a range or an estimation possibly?
Yeah, so my estimation for this would be keeping in mind that you have some development experience, some programming experience. That is, you have done some basics of JavaScript, some basics of Python at some point in time. You know how to look at code, right? That's the experience I'm considering. I'm also considering that you are looking to learn, like I would say, like how do we call it? Like average learning experience. That is, you want to learn Solidity, you want to learn how to read and write smart contracts, but you're not looking to dive too deep into it. So given these two criteria, I would say 10 hours a week, at least.
Okay,
At least 10
thank
hours a
you.
week. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, and for those with basic, with who are completely like who don't have any programming experience, probably more, like I would say 15-20 hours. And for those who have lot of experience, for them it might be lesser than 10 hours. But then for them, if they are more curious, they can also deep dive into the other recommended readings and materials that are given. So I would say give or take like 10 hours. Yeah.
I have a question as well already here.
Mhm.
So I understood that we got yesterday, or I guess on Sunday, our week 1 schedule, and we will get a quiz. When we will get these quiz questions, more or less, and until when can we answer? So until Sunday or until Friday or?
Yeah, so regarding the quiz will actually, I think because Areli, you were added recently on the list, you are yet to receive your class marker credentials. So the quiz, okay, so let me quickly go to the checklist before this. So first is, if you have you shared your email and email Discord IDs with us, because in the initial forms that folks have filled up, the email and the Discord IDs are not matching and the Discord IDs are not proper. So we were not able to map folks. We have sent emails to you on your registered email ID asking if you have a Discord ID and if you can share that with us. If you have joined the Discord, yes. Now the third thing is the answer to your question, really. That is, all the quizzes will happen on a platform called Class Marker. So you must have got your credentials called Class Marker credentials. Now, if you log into Class Marker using those credentials, that particular quiz of that week will be active for you. And you can give that quiz. You can take that quiz. Now, for every quiz, there will be 2 weeks of deadline, right? So the quiz starts on Sunday midnight. So for week 2, it will start on Monday because I'm unavailable over the weekend. I will just cover that part a little bit. But ideally, you can think of the week quiz will start on a Monday for that particular week, and you will have 2 weeks of deadline to complete that quiz. After that, that quiz will close and quiz results will be declared, except for week 4. For week 4, because the learning ends on week 4, you have only 1 week to attempt the week 4 quiz. Week 4, when it ends, all the quiz scores will be added. Cumulative scores will be put up on Discord for all the 4 weeks. And based on your cumulative score, if we are able to raise sufficient amount of grant funding, we will be giving incentives to those who are the top scorers. So we are yet to figure out, because we haven't received any funding. We don't know how this will work, but we are still trying to apply for some grant funding. So you will have 4 weeks, 4 quizzes. Week 1 quiz will get over at week 3 when week 3 begins. Week 2 quiz will get over when week 4 begins. Week 3 quiz will get over when week 4 ends. Week 4 quiz will get over when week 4 ends. So basically for every quiz you have 2 weeks, except week 4 quiz, for which you have only 1 week to attempt.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Gyan, I have a question, Sukanya this side.
Yeah.
How about assignments? So, like after finishing the assignments, will we get the scores by you, or is it only after 4 weeks we'll get consolidated?
So assignment, because assignments are little more of theoretical nature. Like for example, your week 2 assignment is something little bit more theoretical in nature. So you need to do something and you need to fill up a form. So you need to write something. So these kind of assignments will take longer to evaluate. So we will not evaluate immediately, but what you can do is, as you are doing the assignments or through that week, for those assignments, you can discuss with your mentors, because assignments are very concept based. So quizzes are like you have a question and you need to give an answer, right? Whereas assignments are more on the theoretical side of things. Like, for example, this could be an example assignment: read a particular blog and summarize it, right? So this is a type of assignment which is more of a learning assignment. It's a theoretical assignment, right? So you will be given a score if you just complete the assignment. The idea is to complete the assignment. There is not, it's not an evaluation criteria. It is just a completion score. So because this kind of assignment we can't evaluate, everyone's summary will be different, everyone's understanding will be different. But the idea is, as you are trying to summarize this, are you stuck in certain concepts? Are there certain things that you don't have clarity on? Can you initiate a discussion with your mentor on this, and can you gain clarity? That's the idea for the assignments. For the assignments, the score is given based on completion, not based on the quality of the submission.
Okay, okay, Gyan.
So
Thank you so much. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Awesome. So, all right. Since we are on the checklist, let's finish this off. So if you have not shared your email and Discord IDs with us, please do it ASAP. I know there are 4 or 5 folks on whom we still don't have clarity what their email and their registered Discord ID is, have they joined the Discord, etc. For most of you, I think we have this clarity. Most of you have received your class marker credentials as well. You are all registered in the name of Jane Doe. That's because we did not collect any first name, last name information from folks. We were not sure, to be honest, on the GDPR rules, and did not want to spend too much time on those things. And even the emails and stuff, going forward, if we don't want to have a record, we'll probably delete it and things. So the idea is to like get everybody onto the Web3 community, that is Discord, slowly, right? And Telegram, where you can keep your anonymity and stuff. Right now, we need emails for class marker. There's no way, no work around that. If we find a workaround, we'll probably do that for the upcoming cohort. So class marker credentials, you will get a username, which will be something like JNDO01, JNDO3, JNDO4, JNDO125, or something like that. And you would have gotten a password. Now, these are the credentials that you need to use throughout the 4 weeks. Right? So you need to use these credentials and log into your class marker and be able to attempt the quizzes. Regarding the quizzes are 1 attempt only. They are graded quizzes and they are timed quizzes. So when you are taking the quiz, we expect you to be 100% prepared and in a space where you can take a timed quiz. It is very important to be in the right space, both in the mind space and in the physical environment space, because the quizzes are very neck to neck when it comes to timing. So it's the exact amount of time that you need to attempt that quiz if you have spent over 10 hours learning those concepts. And there is no retake for anyone, because this is a cohort of over 80 plus people. We cannot take special requests for retakes, and honestly, to do that in class marker is a huge pain. So that's a no-no. After the quiz deadline is over, on the Discord, if you're able to see the Discord, let me reshare my screen. On the Discord, that is this, you will be able to see under quizzes channels like this. So it'll be something like week 0 Q, week 0 Q&A. So when I say Q, these are only questions. If you missed out on the deadline or you just want to retake the quiz, you can go on the Q, look at the questions and try to redo it, right? So for every quiz, because the quizzes, you will get an email regarding the scores of your quizzes. You will not get an email with what did you get right and what did you get wrong. Why? Because we have seen in the past that once people get the results, they tend to share it with their teammates. We don't have any control over how information is shared. And that is not something that we can absolutely afford. Primarily because if we are giving monetary incentives for you to score higher in the quizzes, then if you share the answers, it doesn't make sense. So we are not revealing the answers on class marker or anywhere else. You will just get a score after you have finished your quiz. So it will look something like this. Let me show you. So quiz points, it will look something like this. Your quiz name, what is your points, what was your duration, when did you take it? This will come immediately after your quiz is over. If you are not getting this email, that means either you have put this classmarker.com on spam, or you are not, you have not, your class marker is not associated with the right email ID. So please double check on this. You should get an email like this with your points, but you will get only your points. Only after the deadline, you will get the questions, and you will also get the question and answer, the combination. So it's up to you on how you want to do it. Feel free to discuss anything with your mentors except these specific quiz questions, please, because everybody will be giving the quizzes at a different point in time. So please respect the experience of others who are your cohort mates. The other point regarding the groups, I'm an admin, so I'm able to see all the groups. Hopefully you all are not able to see all these groups, but you should be able to see your group that you are a part of. You can see that most of the groups have assigned, mentors have been assigned, mentors have introduced themselves. We highly encourage you to introduce yourself. You must be tagged in the group to know that you are in this group. If you are seeing more than one group, let me know, and I will just remove you out of one. Nivedita, okay, so I will talk about this in just a bit. So you can see that every group, mentors are added, group folks are added, conversations are kickstarted. This is your go-to place for everything. So ensure that you are chatting with your mentors, you are getting all your doubts cleared, you are introducing yourselves. All of your mentors have the data that you had filled up in the forms. So they know what your background is, what is your years of experience, etc. Except for those who were added towards the end, 5-10 of you data is yet to be updated, but these are the, so all the mentors have your profiles, and they will be doing things according to this. For content discussion, please feel free to, okay, I will open this up, it's logged. Please feel free to discuss the content and have longer discussions, like try to discuss as much as possible on the topics that you're kind of interested in, or what you found good about the content, what you did not understand, what was too difficult, what could have been added, etc. The more you discuss, the more you're going to learn, because this is, again, I said, it's an asynchronous cohort, so a lot of it is peer learning. So even if you put something small and kind of just, it will start a whole new thread and stuff. You never know what you could learn. So please utilize these channels for each of these weeks discussions. As the weeks open, these channels will open. There is a resources channel where we are posting some resources that could be useful throughout the bootcamp. It's not mandatory, but just an optional feature. Then we have an opportunities channel where you can look at the different openings that are coming up, will be posted by our admins, and you can take a look. Most important, and this is something that many of you have not done yet, please give your Ethereum address. Why am I emphasizing on this so much is because going forward, we want to token gate the content. That means what we want to do is we want to keep the content within the Phoenix Guild and ensure that the next cohorts. So there was a question in the form that you might have filled, which is, would you like to mentor or teach the next cohort? Why we have done this is we want to make this cohort, this asynchronous format of cohort, completely run by the community eventually. Now, for the community to be self-sustainable, every time we won't get grants. So what we will do is we will let the community get the content, get the mentorship, and open up in the form of NFTs, both the content and the mentorship. So people who buy the NFTs for that particular cohort will get access to this content and mentorship from within the cohort itself. That means for many of you who are going through this bootcamp, we are kind of training you to become next set of mentors, to become next set of teachers, because that's the only way we can scale it, and we can have more and more people come into this space with the experience. so that community can handle it going forward. So that's why we want to token gate the content. Now, to token gate the content, it is very important to have your token addresses because you are the Genesis cohort. So all of you need to have access to this content, right? Now, the ETH address, it is very simple. You can install this plugin called MetaMask, right? By default, it gives you something called the Ethereum mainnet. So I have been using this for a while. Okay. I have to see MetaMask. So you can see that once you log in, you will see an account, right? This is your Ethereum address. Very simple. All we need you to do is click on this. It automatically copies to your clipboard and give us this address with your associated email ID, right? Why we are doing this is that in a few weeks, we will gate this content. Then you will have access to this content only through this address. That's why we want you to create your ETH address, because this is your first entry into the Web3 world. And we want to ensure that you're prepared for this. So most of the things regarding the bootcamp I have covered. Just a quick, Areli, you raise your hand.
Yes, I find the idea great because I really want to give back to the community. So I find this very, very nice. And I'm glad that I can be part of it. My question is, after these 6 weeks, I consider myself a very beginner. Are we in the position to mentor other people?
Yeah, so that's again completely up to you, right? To what extent do you feel confident? It's not like you have to mentor immediately the next cohort. You can mentor cohort 3, you can mentor cohort 4. But the idea is that you are the Genesis folks, so you have access to all the content. So even going forward after 6 weeks, you still have access to this content. So you can keep on brushing up your skills. And then you can come back and say, hey, I feel like I'm confident enough that the content that you gave me, I think that content I can mentor. That's where we want you to come to, in case you're interested in the mentoring and the education part of things. And that is going to be one of our biggest success stories, that you take this content, you go through this, you come back and say, hey, I think I'm good with this. I am able to guide others who are probably going to be in the same shoes as mine. That's the idea.
Also, if we don't pass the quizzes this time, will there be an opportunity, since we have access to the content, to continue to study, to possibly retake those at a later point?
Yeah, so the thing is, you see, the quizzes, you can't retake them at a later point because the quiz question and answers will reveal.
I guess the question is just that, if we're continuing to work and learn, even after the boot camp, is it possible to retake those quizzes at some point in time, even though I recognize right now it isn't?
Yeah, I mean, you could always retake them by yourself, because
Okay.
the questions are all there. So you can just copy the questions, keep them for reference, don't see the answers, and then down the line 6 months, you feel like I'm more confident, I'm willing to go back and attempt them. The issue with class marker is that since I have enrolled all of you into one cohort, I can open up the quizzes and close the quizzes for the entire cohort. So on the platform, you will not be able to retake it. However, asynchronously for yourself, for your learning, you can always redo it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So quickly wanted to talk about the team behind the bootcamp. I think we haven't spoken about this, or we just have never highlighted this, but I think it's very important to also get a sense of who are the people who are doing this. So the team behind the bootcamp, obviously you have seen me. I think you have seen me post a lot on Discord as well. So by now you already know that I'm a part of the team. So I'm Gyan Lakshmi. I'm Gyan, and I have about 10 years of experience in the software industry. I'm very passionate about education. I'm passionate about diversity. I've worked with a lot of women-led nonprofits and groups, and I've been in Web3 for about 5+ years. So that's why I'm here. One of the things that I want to do is to genuinely see more women break into Web3 and see the opportunities that they can get into. So that's me. I'm managing the content part of it. I'm managing the structure, broader structure of the bootcamp. And I'm also managing the quizzes, the project week, and I am helping out with managing the mentors. I'm one of the mentors as well. I'm doing a masterclass tomorrow. So basically, I'm everywhere in this bootcamp. We have Sri Lakshmi and Nivedita. They are actually the ones who are traveling today. That's why I told the team is only at 50% capacity for the next 2 weeks. So you may get some delayed responses. Sri Lakshmi and Nivedita are managing a lot of the operation side of things. You see a lot of Luma registrations coming up. You see all the creatives that are being posted for master classes, all the announcements. You see the mentor-mentee groups happening. All of these are being done by these two ladies. Almas is our rockstar community manager. She is also managing our social media actively, and is also helping you out in terms of if you are stuck somewhere, where can you go, right? So if you are a part of the Phoenix Skill Telegram group, you would have seen Almas is the most active person there. She's our go-to person for the community, and she has taken the lead to do that for the bootcamp as well. And of course, the social media part is being handled by her. All of us have our full-time jobs, so that's why sometimes you see we are probably not that responsive on some days. That means work has just taken us over and we are not able to kind of devote as much time, but we are trying to do at least 5 hours, keep like 4 to 5 hours of our time for the day devote to the bootcamp. So yeah, that's how it is. So if you see any lag in the response or anything, you know that it's been a long day at work for us. That's why we are a little late. Apart from that, we have mentors. Basically, actually, more than the team, these are the folks who are running the show. We have, you can see, amazing set of mentors. I cannot emphasize how much experience put together these folks have in the Web3 space, and I would suggest to take as much advantage of the genius people we have in our cohort. You are already might have been familiar with Kier, who has amazing resources. He has been in the blockchain space for over 10 years, like since ever Satoshi published the paper. So he is very senior and has a lot of knowledge. He's very humble, very approachable. We have Sage. She is one of the other rockstar mentors. She was one of the initial people who audited Chainlink contracts. So you can see how Heather has over 20 plus years of experience just in programming. You have Jennifer. She's the co-founder of a startup called Mintgate, which is what I'm going to use to token gate the NFTs. Krati has been a full stack developer for over 10, 12 years of experience. You have Iman. She started the Arabic for girls in the Arabic region. She started the tech hub for them. Shweta, Sneha, and Yola, they are amazing smart contract devs. They have such clarity, such amount of knowledge. Hadi is my colleague as well. He is very Hadi and Uzor are very passionate about getting more females in this space. May, of course, is a self-taught Solidity developer, but she has had exponential growth in her Solidity journey. And all of these people are here to help you. It's not just your mentor who you can approach. You can approach any of them. You can tag any of them on Discord, in general chat, or in the weekly discussions. Feel like, hey, can you answer this question? Or based on your experience, how was this? How was that? So this is an absolute set of gems. Gomati, whose image we don't have, but she again has participated in a lot of hackathons. She has been in this space for over 3-4 years, so she has a lot of experience. So just try to see in these 6 weeks, how can you interact with these mentors as much as possible, right? And just try to get the knowledge from them, because they are giving you their time. Pro bono, they are working with us because they are interested in getting more women into Web3. So I cannot emphasize this enough, that these mentors will not just give you knowledge, but also contacts, networks, the ability to broaden your horizon. And this is something that you should be constantly kind of looking towards. how do I interact more with my mentor? How do I tap onto their knowledge? How do I work with them? How do I, kind of gel with them, in that sense. We also have a bunch of master classes. These are only a few of them that we have finalized. We are going to have a couple of more. We have Caroline, who has already done the introduction to metaverse. We have my master class that is coming up tomorrow. We have Cyber Shakti, who's a very popular NFT figure. So she is going to be talking about NFTs and how to break into that world. We have Leilani, who is a product marketing manager at Covalent. So she will be talking about what is her journey like. I've heard that it is very, very inspirational. So I'm myself looking forward to her talk. And then Mudit is one of the best smart contract security experts in the world. So he has kindly agreed to give his time to take a class on smart contract security. This will happen towards the fag end of the bootcamp. So you are already familiar with Solidity, but definitely try to attend these master classes if you can. Most of them are around this time or probably an hour earlier or so. So it's feasible for all the time zones across the globe, hopefully. Please try to attend these master classes, and also try to ask your questions to these masterclass speakers during their sessions, so you can get the best out of this entire experience. Apart from this, I have already mentioned email and Discord. Again, this checklist is very important. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you think we have not added you to a group, let me know ASAP. You need to be in one of the mentor groups between group 0 to group 10. The skiers group is having a discussion whether it should be group 10 or group A. Please vote for that. So I will change that accordingly. If it is hexadecimal A, I will make it A. Do you know who your mentor is? Please stay connected with your mentors. They are going to be your pillar of support throughout your next 4 to 6 weeks. Last point that I want to share is why we kept the bootcamp asynchronous. One is obviously for our reasons to help scale the bootcamp. We could have made a 15-20 member smaller cohort where we have sessions every week which you can attend, and there is a synchronous kind of thing. But why we decided to go asynchronous is mainly because of the reason that we want this bootcamp to reach as many women as possible. That's why we chose the number 100 to start with. Now, the second and the most important thing for you as a learner is that most of your learning experience in Web3 will be asynchronous. There are very minimal opportunities to learn synchronously or learn through sessions or cohorts, primarily because there are not enough teachers who can do these cohorts. There are not enough people who are experienced to do these cohorts. And if there are experienced people who are doing it, those are very, very expensive cohorts and may not be affordable by all. So you have to prepare yourself to understand how can you learn, consume a lot of content in an asynchronous way. So this bootcamp is for you to discover what is your learning mechanism. Given a bunch of content, how do you learn? What do you like to learn the most? Do you like to learn the basic concepts first and then you like to go to the hands-on parts? Or do you like to run the hands-on videos and do it simultaneously? Do you like to read and learn? Do you like to watch and learn? Do you like quizzes more? Do you want accountability? Or is it okay that you can learn without accountability? Because the content in Web3 going forward is going to be more and more difficult and more asynchronous only. You will get less and less synchronous opportunities to learn things that are advanced. So this bootcamp is an experiment for you to understand what is your learning style and how can you make the most of the content that exists in the Web3 world, filter it out for your understanding, and then make the best of it. So there is a both win-win. One is we get to scale. Second is you get to understand and apply the formula into other facets of learning in your life. Right. So this is the idea why we chose to do an asynchronous bootcamp over a smaller synchronous bootcamp, which we may do if there is more demand. And like I said, again, the whole ownership of this bootcamp is on you. Ownership is not on me. I'm just the person who's doing the structure, the content, the quizzes, all of that. I have fun teaching. I love education and I want to see women grow. So this is my passion, but the ownership on learning is completely on you. I have given you every resource possible to learn. So learn. Be dedicated at least for the next 6 weeks. Make sure that you are attempting the quizzes before the deadline. You're spending enough time every day to either go through the content, or you are spending enough time over the weekend to be able to sit and peruse through the content, go through it, ensure that you have covered the objectives, you're asking the questions to your mentors, you're having that conversation, you're thinking about what kind of projects you want to work on, etc. Right? So I would say, for the basics of programming quiz, only 32 people attempted. As a cohort, that's not a success for us. We have to be successful as a cohort. So help your peers also learn, push your peers to learn. People in your group, they are your cohort mates for the next 6 weeks. Ensure that they are not blocked somewhere, and what can you do to offer help, right? As a cohort, we have to succeed. You have to ensure that maximum people are taking the quizzes, maximum people are reading the content, maximum people are unblocked at any point in time with respect to whatever questions that are there. So that's that, you all. I think I have taken exactly the time that I said I would take, 55 minutes. But yeah, awesome. Do you have any questions? All right. Okay. So if there are no questions, then best of luck, everyone. And yeah, I hope I get to see you all interact. All the mentors have started posting in Discord group. People are not posting. So please post, ask your questions. Like everybody has told, they are very flexible. There are no stupid questions. Even the smallest things that you don't understand or feel like it's just something that's too overwhelming, just put in as a question. And your mentors or me or anyone will be more than happy to answer the questions.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity.
Amazing. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Enjoy this learning experience, folks. Treat this as like a, trial learning opportunity for all things going forward in Web3. So you want to tune yourself on how to learn, because content in Web3 is going to be a lot. How can you filter the content and make the best out of it is what is this entire experiment for you. So yeah, make the best of all the resources that you have. And yeah, as Nivedita said, have fun learning and please get good grades so we can show off in social media. Yeah, just kidding, guys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
have a good
you.
evening. Yeah, good night.
Thank you. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.